Well, okay. So you make networking. I realize it's what you do and you're obviously very good at it, but you make it sound really easy. But most of us do not feel like it's easy. We feel like it's hard. We feel like it's scary as hell. Like, who wants to go to a career fair? Terrible, awkward, weird, So tell us if somebody is like, okay, I hear you, Isabel. Like, I need to network. How do they go about doing it in a way that is not big and scary and awkward?
Okay, so I'll give a few tips and a few like anecdotes. First of all, currently everyone is inside their homes. I think most of the people, unless you live in, I don't know, New Zealand or some island with no one else in it. But the one really good thing about online networking is that one, it creates a slight barrier between you and the person. So the act of you actually physically going, putting yourself in front of someone and asking for something, it's less stressful, I'd say. Um, you can also go with a more specific ask, be very polite, and if someone doesn't reply, they don't reply, but you didn't lose that much time. Maybe you wrote an email, maybe you wrote a message on LinkedIn, maybe they'll reply 4 months later. That happens. Some people are really bad at messaging. But I feel like it's a good way to start if you never network, if you're really scared, because it's not so scary in that way. But I would say the first rule that I always try to tell everyone is before you go and approach anyone, just think to yourself, how do I describe myself using three sentences or three things that don't apply to my work at all? So, it doesn't, don't say that you're a podcaster, don't say that you're a producer. Like, say, I read way too many books. I can never look at a bookshop and come out empty-handed. I have a unhealthy addiction to Dolly Parton, and I don't know. If there's granolas with raisins, I'll eat all the raisins out of the granola and leave the granola for someone else. Um, so those are all completely random, but they'll give you a bit of a hit of my personality. And in the end, people will connect with people. They don't connect with job roles. And
So
I think that's
true.
really important because you have to go into networking thinking that in the end, it's all about connecting with someone. And to be honest, a lot of connections you do might not wield any results, at least not right away, but in 10 years' time, something might come up with it. Or maybe you'll just find a friend, or maybe someone who just say something that's gonna make you think about something in a different way. So there's that. But something that I also say a lot, and I think it comes good with the theme of Valentine's Day, is I don't know your listeners' experiences with love and dating, but I can tell my personally. Um, there are few people in the world, I think, that have been dumped as many times and in so many different ways as I have been. Okay. I have been dumped in like spectacular manners. I have stories forever. I have already been dumped because someone preferred reading Harry Potter than staying on a date with me. Okay? Just want to make that clear. Um
You lost to Snape. Oh no.
yeah, I did. I even bought a new top for that date. Anyway, what that uh anecdote, which sounds completely pointless, always comes down to is that whenever I think about something scary, I think about some of the times that I got dumped. And that was actually very personal, because you're actually like in love, or you have feelings, or you're infatuated with someone. So that's deep, right? That's about a personality. And I've recovered every single time. Maybe it took a month, maybe it took a day, maybe it took 3 years, but you always come back from it. And in a way, networking is a lot less stressful than that. So if you've ever dated and if you got dumped even once and you recovered from it, like, bring that strength back to you and believe that you can do it, because it's not as personal. Sometimes people just don't. If people The worst thing that can happen when it comes to networking is someone saying no to you. And if they say no to you, they're not saying no like you are a terrible human. No, whatever you're asking me, I can't do. Whatever you're asking me, I'm not interested, or I don't have time and I can't commit, you know? None of those things should get to your self esteem ideally, because they are not about you as a person, right? So that's something to say. And if anyone wants to keep the image of me being dumped over Harry Potter, feel free to use that. Okay. So I think that's important. That actually made me better at my job as a producer, because I was always willing to ask for things. And I knew that I was going to listen to many, many no's. And that was not an issue. And I think it's one of those things that you practice. You know, no one is great at networking. No one is great at asking things all the time or going for it and taking chances. You need to get a bit acquainted with the rejection. But the professional networking rejection is very different than a personal rejection. And I think if you've ever had a personal rejection, you can come out of any other networking problem on top easily.